It's Fan University right here on 105.3 The Fan, and we're keeping the momentum going, staying right in our backyard. Pleased now to welcome on Fan University the head coach of the North Texas Mean Green, Eric Morris. Coach Morris, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just got off the practice field, and Tuesday's our work day, so I'm a little exhausted. I'm ready for a little lunch.
No doubt about it. And in fact, that's exactly where I want to start because it seems like the North Texas football team has more fun than any team I know of because I'm scrolling the Twitter, and you know how the algorithm works. And before I know it, I see a video of your guys's with a stone cold Steve Austin celebration. You got to let us know, where did that originate from? And is it water that's in the cans for the celebration there?
Yeah, we have water, big cases of I think it's called ape water, and they're a little bit longer, and we tape them up so nobody knows that it's water. Let the imagination run wild of what's actually in there. But yeah, I mean, Stone Cold played here, and I think we ordered the championship belt, the green one, the little mean green belt, and the kids have fun with it. Anytime we get over there and celebrate a turnover, I think creates a little momentum, and our guys have fun, and they bought into it. So we're trying to get my man Stone Cold back, but he hasn't answered us yet.
Well, hopefully he'll get back in touch with you soon. And speaking of going ape, I feel like that's what the defense has done through some of these early games, especially at home. And I feel like a lot of that's because of Skylar Cassidy, your new defensive coordinator. What made him such a target for your DC you wanted to go after this offseason? And how have you seen him change the defense to have the success you've already had?
Yeah, I think just going back and studying some of the things that I think are really important, playing alongside with the style of offense that we have, and I think being aggressive on that side of the ball, creating negative plays, whether that's a tackle for a loss, sack on the quarterback, turnovers, are always something that I think plays really well for us. And so even if they give up some points from time to time, I think if they can give us more opportunities, and we continue to take advantage of those turnovers and turn them into points, has been a good deal for us. His stop rate was really, really good the last 2 years. And I was really intrigued. Just he had two 1 year stints as a DC, once at ACU and one at Sam Houston. And I think he used the portal really effectively without having a ton of money, which is a little bit of an art to that. I think you got to do a little bit more research than some people are willing to do. And so those were kind of some of the things that stuck out to me.
Eric Morris is with us on Fan University, the head coach of the North Texas Mean Green. You guys are off to a great start. A couple of thrilling finishes, the overtime win over Army. And coach, you guys are starting to kind of burst onto a national scene, just given with some of the success you've had and some of the let's call it unsung heroes. America loves some of those underdog stories, and there's no better underdog story than at the quarterback position. And the article that was on CBS Sports about Drew Mestemaker and how his journey has led him to where he is now. What can you tell us about Drew Mestemaker that maybe the country doesn't know, aside from, hey, this is a guy that didn't even start at quarterback in his own high school, and here he is leading your team to one of the most prolific offenses?
Yeah, I mean, he's a quirky kid. He's a lot of fun to be around. I think, happy-go-lucky. But really, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just how smart and how quick he picks everything up. I think he has the ability to process information extremely fast. I think both in the meeting room, and he takes that on the field, and he sees space and sees things really, really well. And so he's a little bit wise beyond his years. I think, and that's kind of what we first saw when he was a walk-on here a year ago in fall camp. He was out there with the threes and fours and making checks that were, wise beyond his years and or how much time he had spent. And so he's been able to kind of put himself in some really good situations, moved himself up the depth chart, utilized having a year under his belt, learning the system. While he watched Chandler Morris last year, and I think still wild to me just thinking that the kid's only played 5 games in the last 15 years of his life at quarterback, to see him go out there and operate so effectively. But yeah, he's a great kid, really pleasant to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And then too, he's got a little fire to him on game day. I mean, now he's getting a little edge to him, and it's been fun to watch his competitive nature come out.
Is there a part of his game that maybe people who've watched him so far doesn't really stick out to you? Because I know you've coached like a Mahomes or a Cam Ward or players like that in the past, but like What about him reminds you maybe of some of those bigger, more star quarterbacks that maybe doesn't jump out when watching him?
I think a little bit different just because he's not as off script as those guys. I think those guys really can make some unbelievable plays that you see on Sports Center where you're running left for full speed, throw it across your body, diving, no look passes, all those things. That's not really his style, although he is big and strong and he can run. I think he showed his ability to run in the open field in our bowl game, but yeah, I think a little bit more precise, if that's the right word, and being able to get through his reads a little bit faster and get the ball where it needs to be on time. And so, been really fun to watch his accuracy out there at different times, and be able to keep this offense moving forward, whether it's a check down or ripping a seam. I mean, he's a guy that really hasn't put the ball in harm's way much, which I think is something I love as a quarterback coach.
Eric Morris is with us on Fan University. Coach, you got South Alabama in town, and for our listeners right here in our own backyard in Denton, and it's one of those things where it's almost like we don't appreciate enough the great quality football that's right here. And listen, I know we'll do the thing where you're looking at the schedule, and as a coach, I know it's game by game, but at the same time, you start to think of the momentum that you guys have started to come up with here. You got to feel good about the outlook of the rest of the season, but at the same time, how do you make sure your guys continue to take it as a process focus day by day?
Yeah, I think just harping on it consistently. I think, we have to have the ability to be mature once we win and not be, where we start reading our own, Twitter headlines. I used to say newspaper clippings, but now I say, Twitter headlines and Instagram social media posts. But yeah, I think this is the most humbling game in the world, especially college football. I think week by week we see these upsets that nobody saw coming, and I think for us to be able to continue to get better every single week, buy in to we win the game Monday through Thursday, which is so cliche to say, but I do think our kids have really put in the effort to put in the work during the course of the week and get rewarded on the weekends. And so for a coach, that's your biggest, nightmare, I think, to really think about this as you start doing it and how do you handle success. And I think the human brain tends to get complacent on doing some of the little things right. And so we got to do a great job as coaches to not allow that complacency to kick in.
Well, you mentioned handling success, and a ton of that success has come at home. Two blowouts in your two home games so far, two closer games on the road, but all wins. How do you get some of that home success to kind of translate to the road? But also, how big has the crowd been in Denton this year? I know the game against Washington State was a near sellout.
Yeah, I think, as we continue to build something special and put a good product on the field, I think, these crowds will continue to grow and people will want to come watch it. I think it's an exciting brand of football. I mean, getting turnovers and scoring fast and doing that a lot of different ways on the offensive side of the ball has been fun. And then if you have an answer how I can take the home success on the road, then I'll pay you a lot of money and you got to come meet with me and give me some secrets.
I'll work on it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Coach, we'll get you out the door on this. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the University of North Texas was quite literally the fastest offense in the country, just in terms of number of plays and time between plays. How do you prepare your guys as simple as, hey, we are going to be the fastest team in the country, conditioning, and what all goes into kind of that being your MO and the brand of football that you coach?
Yeah, and we were that a year ago, and it's something that I think playing complementary football is super important, and so I thought we had to rely on it just because we weren't, as good some places last year. I think we're a lot better up front, offensive line wise. So we've actually slowed down quite a bit this year. Even against Army, I think we went on two 16-play drives with ball control. I think it's important, especially against a defense like that. But we practice fast and we practice almost at mock speed that I think our kids actually feel like it's slow once we actually get refs out there and they're putting the ball down. And so yeah, I think just like anything else in life, you got if you want to play fast, you got to practice that way. And our kids have bought into that. And we have tempo periods. We had three of them today where our guys are literally going all over the place, for a hard, 10 or 15 minutes. They don't love those periods just because they get so damn tired. but allows them to play fast.
Absolutely. Well, we love it. Coach, thanks so much for hopping on Fan University. Wish you all the best, not only against South Alabama, but the rest of the season. And we appreciate your time. Go Mean Green, and we'll do this again.
I appreciate you guys. Have a great week.